We're all good. We're all good.
I was born
Going
ready.
live, and we are live. Hello, everybody. What is up? What is up? What is up? Obviously, you can see I have three very special guests here today because I was supposed to have Nick on, but we got a threefer for it, and that's awesome. So that is awesome. So welcome, you guys. Welcome everybody in chat. How is everybody doing? Let's see. I think we're all good to go. Everything's running properly. I think so. First time with no dangle clacks. I love it. So,
Good.
So I'm glad you guys are here. I'll kind of give you a rundown of what the show's about a little bit. I kind of just get people on here to pretty much tell their vaping story because obviously everybody's vaping story is a little bit different. And so I like to have people share their experiences and just kind of sometimes you get some stories that inspire others when you learn about their vaping story. So having all three of you on here is a perfect opportunity for that. So
yeah, absolutely.
So before we get going on this, why don't you guys tell me what you guys are vaping on here? What you guys vaping on?
We'll start from this
Dwayne,
side.
what do you got?
Ohmboyoc.
I have a Dang RDA on top of the Pulse Dual, and I'm rocking some Rocket Glass. Just blue raz, everything. It should be put on everything. You should put it on your car. On your wife.
Just put it on after the shower.
Yes, it's one of those things.
Instead of soap, you just use Rocket Blast?
Yeah, just shampoo.
No, I was just saying blue
Rocket
raz.
Blast.
I'm saying the world, if the world had more
Raz.
blue raspberry in it, it would be a better place. And then the urn. I got one of those little urn jobs here that it's almost out.
How do you like that thing?
Hopefully you guys have more pods for these.
The urine kind of rules.
Yeah, the urn is kicking ass. I had that. It was full yesterday. You can't see, but it's empty now. Basically vaping.
What pod do you have in there?
What pod do I have?
No, it's a ceramic coil, and that's the apple flavor.
Oh.
Apple flavor.
Yeah,
I don't know what flavor it is because I can hardly taste the flavor. I just taste sweet. That's all.
Hey, as long as you're getting your Nick with it, that's all that matters, really.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, we got Beecher Howard in the chat, guys.
Uh-oh.
AKA Coil Turd. Poop is in his actual name.
Dwayne should grow a beard.
So what about
Yeah,
you, Kent? What do you got?
What is that, Beecher? Come back. Come back later.
Kent, what do you got?
Back later. You got good
Oh, me?
ideas.
Yeah, what do you got?
I got the Eclipse cap with the TM24 Pro. It's like my favorite atomizer.
I wonder why. I don't know.
Shocking.
I designed it for myself, so whatever, you guys. Yeah,
Does it hurt when you suck your own dick or no?
I can't reach yet. I've been doing the
Can't
stretches.
reach.
Yeah, but and then this is just a PWM box. It's really good. I've been using it for 4 or 5 years or something.
It's the only mod he uses.
Yeah, and then the liquid is a special blend that Dwayne made for me. He promised it to me. He made it for me, and it's really, really good. I'm not telling you what it tastes like.
If it's not dynamite fused, I'll be very upset.
Damn.
Yeah.
It's not what?
If it is.
Dynamite fuse.
Dynamite
Call it
fuse.
Well, it's kind of like dynamite fused, but better.
Because
Like,
I'm waiting for a comeback. I'm waiting for it. Dwayne,
Yeah.
pressure's on you.
I have the recipe done. It's finalized. Ken's
Dude.
vaping it right now.
Let's just say I vaped probably 2 gallons of dynamite fuse over the course of like 2 years. That's all I vaped every day, all day. 6 milligram dynamite fuse. He sent me literal giant water bottles full of it, and I was vaping it constantly. Never got tired of it. I ran out. Finally, that gravy train ended. You know, he was like, "I'm not making juice for you anymore, Kent. I'm fucking tired of you doing your dirty work." And I was like, "Dude, bro, you're the one who made the fucking flavor. I'm sorry, the company went out of business, but that was the best flavor that's ever existed." Well, he was like, "Kent, I got something for you," on the phone like a while back. It's like, I'm gonna send it to you. He's been promising me this for 2 months. Does a dynamite fuse, but better. And I was like,
Okay.
but it is.
It's dynamite fuse, but better.
It's
But
even
throw
better,
it.
dude.
Way throatier, according to Nick.
Nick,
Yeah.
Aziz still has a 120 mil of the original dynamite fuse unopened.
Who has
it's
one?
Probably
Aziz.
so good.
Aziz
sneaked out. It's yellow by now.
Oh, yeah.
When it turns yellow.
That's
You
the
know
best.
it's in its.
We've been trying to get him to open it for like a year, and he hasn't opened it yet.
Coils by Dre before he changed his name on Instagram a bunch of times.
Mhm.
He had the original 30 mil bottles of 6 milligram, and those were Really, really good.
Yeah.
I must have been 3 years old.
Darker the berry, the sweeter the juice, my friend.
Well, last but finally not least, what about you, Nick?
I have my new fancy Aspen Modco Monarch that I bought. Wow, that light is just the worst, isn't it?
Oh, I love that thing.
It's clear and pink, and then it has like a big black birthmark on the back. It's just, I love it. I love everything about it.
Mhm.
Prickly smooth on the inside, recoil rebel on top. This is just my daily banger. This is my new Kent setup. Kent's been using that for 5 years.
Yeah.
And that's going to be the one you're going to be using for 5 years.
This is it. This is my daily jam. This is amazing.
What are you going to do with the other one you got, though? You have multiple ones, I thought.
Well, I have a few Monarchs, yeah. They need some refurbishment. I need to send them back to Ruby and Josh. I was extra hard on them. I was not babying.
Hey, I've had to send mine to Ruby and Josh twice.
Yeah, so these have to go back for some maintenance because I was really rough on them. And
I was just kind of clumsy the first time, and it like fell in part of the part of the tray where like the brass part slides on, cracked.
Yeah.
And then so they had to do it, and then the moment I pulled it off, when I got it back from the other side, cracked.
Oh God.
So I was like, okay, whatever. It happens.
Well,
I have been in epoxy, dude.
Their customer service is amazing, so Josh took care of it without a problem, so it was all good on them. So I guess I'll go through what I got right now.
Pride in his work. He's a lot of pride in his work.
Yeah. Well, first of all, for me, I got the Black Dreamer with the Ohana. Have you gotten the Ohana yet, Nick?
No, I've never heard of it before you said the word Ohana.
It's Heavy Metal Vapor, and Johnny Drips designed this guy.
Okay.
It is awesome. It's a bottom airflow, and it's fantastic. Inside of there, where is it? I got the Hometown Hero, Just Strawberry Punch. And then, of course, I had to bring this guy out of retirement because I have to. It's the Warlock's Hammer.
Warlock's Hammer.
With the Dead Rabbit on top, just to match it up.
The Ohmies and the Poon Sauce on it.
And I found this in the back of my juice drawer, and I'm so surprised I still have it. I have an old bottle of freaking Sickwid Krispies in here. So I'm rocking that. And
Dang.
It's fantastic. And then finally, my monster setup right now. I got my Death Wish Infected with the Death Trap V2.
The 21700s in there?
2700.
Okay. It looks like a honker of a mod.
Death Trap V2 with some like random almost 6mm coils in there.
6mm coils.
Well, when I put the 4mm rod in there, they still had probably you could put 2 more in there, so probably a lot bigger than that. But this thing's massive. Ohm's out to like a 0.5, so it's safe for series. So
that's giant,
and it's insane, and I love it. And inside of there, since when you talked about in the vlog, when you tried that coconut sticky rice, I remembered that I have a bottle of it. In my drawer.
Coconut sticky rice.
I like it. Because I remember trying it when a local shop of mine first got it in. It was awesome to me. I don't know. It's like I like coconut, but I like the sticky rice flavor the most. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, I get that though. I can see that. This is
Can I hit some of that dynamite?
But do I have anything else? I don't think I got anything else going. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So let's get down into it. So first of all, what I usually ask people when they first come on here is, because it's probably one of the most important things to your vaping story, because it's probably how you got into vaping. This is a question for all three of you. How old were you guys when you first started smoking?
How old were you?
I think my first cigarette was when I was 13. I stole it from my older brother's pack.
Yeah.
And just smoked it on the way to school, just like on an impulse.
Did you enjoy it?
I got real lightheaded. I couldn't finish the whole thing. I smoked like Benson and Hedges, like the hundreds, the real long ones.
Yeah.
And
that's Dwayne's jam, is hundreds.
I felt like I did something wrong, and it was awesome. But then, and then me and my friends they talk about this nicotine buzz or whatever. And then we started like trying to smoke like that and just making ourselves ill. It was the worst idea. I don't know. I guess just any sort of head change when you're 13 is fine. But but I didn't really start smoking regularly till I was about 19 or 20.
So that's when you were like turned into like a pack a day, pack and a half a day kind of thing.
Yeah, well, like my girlfriend at the time really didn't want me smoking, so I'd wait till I'd like leave and buy a pack, and then I'd smoke them, and then I'd throw the pack away. But I'd smoke like half a pack, you know. And then once I was out of that relationship, I just started smoking a pack a day. And when I was in China, dude, I did like on average about 2.5 packs a day.
Well, smoking out in China is like it's still such a common thing to where you feel like when you go out there, it's like every other person you're walking in the street smoking a cigarette.
Like women don't really smoke very often. Like very small amounts of women smoke, but for men, it's so high.
Yeah, it's like you'd be surprised if you saw a guy out in China that didn't smoke. Pretty much.
Yeah, I remember one time this security guard that I was friends with, he stopped smoking, and I was so offended. I was like, stop smoking.
Like, now I got nobody to smoke with.
Yeah, bro. Dude, we used to smoke together. It was fucking awesome.
What about you, Dwayne?
What about you?
God, probably when I was like 16, we started smoking, and we started smoking because we'd smoke weed. We'd get like, the Mexican dirt ass weed.
Yeah.
And you could only get so high back then. Like, this is before we had chronic. Chronic was shortly after. But so we would be smoking, and then if we smoked a cigarette after we smoked, then we just got like that buzz, that instant buzz, and it just took you up to the next level. And yeah, so it took me a couple of years. It took me from when I was about 16 to 18 to really actually start smoking. It wasn't until after I turned 18 that I was like, okay, I would smoke, half a pack a day. And then, progressively over the years, that turned into, I was pretty close to 2 packs a day. And then at my last job doing electrical, where I was the superintendent, and I'd be sitting in a trailer on a job site all day. So, half my time was standing outside on the little patio that we had, just sitting out there smoking cigarettes, walk inside and work for a little bit, walk back out, smoke another cigarette.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, man, you crush 2 packs in a day.
I was never a pack a day smoker. I started, I was like a pack every 2 days, roughly.
But that's probably because you couldn't smoke at work, right?
Yeah.
Didn't they have like a little section for you back at Starbucks, Nick?
Yeah, they have the smoker cage area.
Yeah.
But when I was working at Starbucks and smoking, I didn't want people to know that I was smoking.
Okay.
So I would chain smoke in the car on the way there, like they can't smell it on me, right? I'd chain smoke in the car on the way there and work the whole day until I would go home, and I wouldn't smoke a cigarette until I got home.
Oh yeah, so imagine if it was just okay and you could just smoke all day.
If I smoked on every break, I'd probably been a pack a day smoker.
For sure.
Pretty.
How old were you when you first started smoking, Nick?
I was the same age as Kent.
Okay.
I was 13 years old. It was just a peer pressure situation. When you're a kid, all that matters is being cool.
Yeah, it's like especially 100%. When your parent, like for me, my parents raised me to not smoke, not do anything like that, and because I had 3 grandparents who smoked, and 3 of them lost their lives because of smoke-related illness. So, and then my mom smoked for was like 20 years. She ended up getting like coronary artery disease and getting kidney cancer from the smoking, and then I started smoking when I was 13 because I thought it was cool, and I wanted my friends, because when I had friends in high school, like when I was in middle school, my friends were already in like high school and stuff already, so I was able to get the cigarettes easier. Plus they had like packs on them, and I was that desperate kind of first starting smoking. When my brother was smoking, I'd take the butts out of the ashtray in the front porch.
Oh yeah,
and smoke like the butts that are like that big, and take like 4 of them at a time.
I was like an eagle. I was looking always for butts anywhere I could get them. Because we had a vending machine nearby that I could get a pack of cigarettes from occasionally. But for the most part, you didn't just go through a pack of cigarettes. You're like, this pack of cigarettes has to last me, months. I have to really savor these. And so it was cigarette butts everywhere. And even some of my friends at the time were like, trying to get, not to do it. They're like, why would you don't pick up a cigarette butt, don't smoke it, what are you doing? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And they get it out of my hand. They're like, don't smoke cigarettes. And I'm like, I just did. I wouldn't stop. I'm like, the opinion of other people matter more to me than you. So I'm going to smoke. and I want to smoke. It was gross. I mean, thinking back, like, just picking cigarette butts out of an ashtray at a casino.
Oh, gosh.
Getting those, like, 4 good puffs before you're burning the filter. Like, what was I doing? What was I even thinking?
And it's a really big, like, realization for me, too. It's like, especially when you go around somebody who's a smoker now, and, like, you smell it, and then you're just like, holy hell, what the fuck? And you're just like...
I smell like that.
Yeah. And there was one time I had, like, quit smoking, but my brother didn't, and we stopped at a gas station to get gas. He got out of the car, smoked a cigarette, got back in, and I was suddenly so offended, like, oh my gosh, you smell bad. You should quit too. I can't believe I ever smelled like that. Instant high road. Yeah. Instant high road. But it's true. You stink like ass when you smoke cigarettes.
Did you have to sell your car, Nick? What the car you had when you smoked, did you have to sell it and because of the smoke, the smell that got embedded into the car?
No, it was I would drive to work no matter what time in the morning it was with passenger and driver side windows down.
Wow.
And I would smoke outside. Eventually, it was a minivan, and eventually the minivan, the smoke smell did take over, and I had to get rid of it.
Okay.
But chain smoking in the car, all the windows down, freezing cold, didn't matter. I needed to smoke, but I didn't want my car to smell. So there you go.
You had to sacrifice something.
Yeah, you sacrifice your health.
So going with that, we all know, since with how you guys have got involved with vaping. So my next question for you guys is, how did you guys get introduced to vaping? That's a real question that I've always been curious. Especially, I've kind of heard it with you, Nick, but I don't think I've ever heard it with Dwayne and Kent. So I'm curious how did you get introduced to vaping?
You're first.
How much time you got?
Yeah, how much time you got? Is this one of those 3 or 4 hour vlog things?
No.
This all started when Kent was 2, okay? Dream.
I had a dream when I was 2. I didn't understand it. The big bad wolf, Little Red Riding Hood. I was very frightened, but a big cloud of vapor came up. No, in all seriousness, I'm just kidding. That never happens. But I came back from China in 2007, and I met up with my buddy from high school. It's not important what his name was, but his name was Chad.
Hey, Chad.
Chads. They always get you smoking.
Yep.
No, dude, no. He had a fucking e-cig, dude. He had those bridgeless, whatever, the little, you have a little cotton in the back and you screw it on. It looks exactly like a cigarette and it lights up. I was like, dude, what the fuck is that? It's the coolest thing I've ever seen. He's like, yeah, dude, it's an e-cig. Watch, blah, blah, you can try it. And like, I fell in love. I was like, that is the fucking coolest thing that's ever been invented. I really liked it.
Back when they called it water vapor.
Yeah, water vapor.
I always knew that. I knew that was bullshit. I was in the mall and they're like, "The exhale is just water vapor." I'm like, "Dude, what?" Is this just... That's the only way that would work. But yeah, and I couldn't. At the time, I was working at Whole Foods. I didn't have any money, so I wasn't able to spend $200 on something. Mm-hmm. But I remember, my people kept giving me them, and so like in 2012, I had found my setup that I used. I had a CE4 with an Ego battery.
Clearomizer. CE4 Clearomizer.
CE4 Clearomizer, whatever. Called the CE4.
Clearomizer.
Okay. Anyway, Clearomizer. And I got this e-liquid from China that was cotton candy flavor, 36 milligram. Ooh. And that's what I used, man.
36, holy crap. That's crazy.
Well, my thinking was, like, they had 36 available, they had 3 and 0 available, and they were all the same price. I said, 36 milligram is a better deal. I get more nicotine. That's stupid.
That's why I bought the 100s. You make fun of me about smoking Marlboro 100s, but...
Dude, yeah, the same more price, tobacco. You get more tobacco.
I mean, come on now.
Yeah, so Chad introduced me. My other friend gave me, like, some weird bridgeless 510 dripper things that worked for a long time, but once those broke, then I finally found, I was always going back to smoking. And then after 2012, when I had a reliable device, and then I went from that to the Kangaroo Pro Tank, which was fucking awesome. That mouth alone Kangaroo Pro Tank, dude. That was like game changing. That was my favorite thing ever.
Definitely. What about you, Dwayne?
Oh, So I was hanging out at the tattoo shop, Goodfellas Tattoo, and they just, I don't know, that tattoo shop always had, those guys in there always had shit before anybody else. And so I was getting tattooed, and we went outside to go take a smoke break like we always do. And a couple of the guys were using like little ego pens at that time. And they started talking to me about it, and I just started asking more and more questions, and let me try it. And I was like, fuck, this thing's pretty cool. And I was like, where do you get them at? He's like, there's only one place around here that sells these. And it's this little shitty, like, smoke shop / liquor store. And you got to go up here to get it. And you got to ask the guy about it. They're behind the counter. You don't really see them. And so we were getting ready to head back to Vegas. And I was with my wife, and I was like, yeah, let's fucking go check this place out. Let's go pick some up. And yeah, we left. We spent probably $300 on them, like the little Cardos, a bunch of, I didn't know what liquid I'd like, so I bought like one of every one of the liquids that they had, which were, you know, in those little plastic little things, bottles. And went back to Vegas, and I was using it, and I started to use it just chilling in the house. But like back then, for me and the way I wanted to vape, like I would vape out a Cardo in like an hour or two.
Holy shit.
Eventually I ran out, you know, but it wasn't like, for me, I don't even think at that time I was really trying to even quit smoking. It was just like something else I could do. And I figured I could bring that into work and vape that in the office. And, you know, it didn't smell like nothing, so nobody would say anything. And, but then, so those Cardos ran out. And then I looked like all around Las Vegas, and I couldn't get any more. I couldn't find them anywhere. And so I just kind of left it by the wayside and didn't really follow through on trying to get any more, unless we were going to plan a trip to California, and then I was going to pick some up. Coincidentally, at that time, a little after that time, my wife, her ex-husband, started to work with Local Vape, and that's like right as Local Vape started her little startup. In their shop here in California. And so he had sent me a bunch of stuff, and I don't remember what he sent me, but the new shit that he sent me was 1,000,000 times better than those Cardos, and I was able to like start vaping. So for me, it started like at work. I was, you know, I'd sit in the office and I'd be able to sit there and vape, and nobody cared. I'd sit in meetings, like we'd have like Skype meetings with like the owner of the company, like the head guy in the company, and it's all of us at this big table, and we're sitting there watching them up on this projector, and you know, we're all interacting. I'm just sitting in the meetings just vaping, you know, and like it was just, I don't know, it was that, but that's how like the transition started for me. So next thing you know, yeah.
Oh jeez.
Can't.
That's fine.
Someday it's gonna be an actual fire, and we just disengage.
It's like, oh, it's just somebody's just vaping. Don't worry.
It's not. We don't need Nick for this story, anyways. So then I noticed at work, like I stopped going out for cigarette breaks. Like I would just kind of sit in the office, and I would just be vaping, and I'd realize like, oh shit, like 4 hours went by. I hadn't smoked, you know. Then I go outside and smoke a cigarette, and then come back in, but those time spans, without me even noticing, just progressively got, you know, further and further apart, to where eventually it was to the point where I'd realize like halfway through the day, like shit, I haven't even smoked a cigarette yet. You know, I've just been vaping. And then eventually it just kind of took over. So it was a very long, gradual process for me. It probably, you know, over 6 months before I really was like, stop buying cigarettes, stop having the cigarettes, and I'll use this thing. Yeah, just vape.
For sure. Nick, what about you? Yours is a little. Isn't it?
Mine's so I paused smoking for roughly like 4 years for a job, and when the job ended, my first thought was, well, I can smoke cigarettes again. But I didn't really want to smoke cigarettes again, even though I did smoke cigarettes again. But I kept it, you know, it's one of those mental things where it's like, if I only have one a day, then I'm not a smoker again.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just one, like, it's just one. And, but then my brother and I were planning a trip to Vegas. And I'm thinking in my head, if I go to Vegas, I'll just blow through a few packs of cigarettes. I'll just be a smoker again. And I don't want to do that. So I got on the internet and I Googled fake cigarettes. And because I thought, like, shit, there has to be something that's like a cigarette but isn't a cigarette. Like a different way. I don't know what I was thinking. I got on Google fake cigarettes. I ended up on this vape video from this dude named Leaford, and he was reviewing the Smoke 51 starter kit. He was just praising it. He's like, this is good. This is the best, the best smoke production. He called it smoke. He's like, this is the best smoke production. It tastes the best out of all these that I've tried. I'm like, fucking Leaford says so. So I went on eBay. I bought a starter kit. It was like $230, and you get 2 dinky little batteries and like a 4-pack of cartomizers that were pre-filled. And I thought, this is all I need. What's liquid? I don't know what liquid is. I don't know what I need. And so I used it, and it was awesome. And I ended up going to Las Vegas and like smoking like crazy anyway, because my cartomizers instantly went dry after a day, and I didn't know how to refill them. It was like the same thing. I don't know how to do this. And so I just went and had cigarettes. But then when I got back, I found ECF. I looked into it more. I found ECF. I got a few more starter kits. And by that time, like the first mod, like the screwdriver mod had come out. And so I had a mod with a battery now, but I was still using the cruddy atomizers. And I don't know. I just went, you go like 24 hours without a cigarette just from vaping. And I was like, this is amazing. I haven't had a cigarette all day. Next day, no cigarettes all day. Yeah. And then it was, after that point, it was like 4 days later, I got on YouTube and I was like, this is a vape thing and it's amazing. And like, I just wanted to tell as many smokers as I possibly could. Like, I loved smoking. I loved it. I didn't want to quit. I just loved smoking. And having something that I can do now that I love, I mean, you can't put a price tag on that.
Yeah. I mean, you could easily say that $230 you spent on eBay was completely worth it.
Yeah, completely worth it.
Like, you would pay that tenfold again if...
Yeah, in hindsight, completely worth it. It got me started on a really great path. Smoke-free path.
Did you guys have a setup that was like the setup to where it's like, okay, don't need to smoke cigarettes anymore. I can stick with this full time. So what were those setups? I'm really curious about that. Like, if you had to pick the setup that got you to pretty much put down the cigarettes or take the pack you had and just throw it in the trash, what was that one?
I don't want that setup.
Mine was I wouldn't have that set up now, but at the time it was the 510s. So this is way before anything of the vape world or scene or anything like that. This new product came out. It was just called the 510, and it was called the Janty Dura, and they called it the 510. And really, that was just the threading, it turns out, right? But it was called the Janty Dura. And I bought that and a Yeti because they were both 510, and the Dura was a black version of the same product that was white. They just named it 2 different things. So I bought them. I bought a bunch of batteries, and that's when I started dripping on 510 atomizers.
Ooh, child, game changer.
Started dripping on 510s with these dinky little batteries, and every day when I would leave my house, I would leave my house with no less than at least 6 or 7 stick batteries that I kept in cigarette boxes. And one atomizer that I was using, and then like 2 spares in case that one atomizer died, because those junky 510 atomizers would just die without warning. And if you didn't have a backup, you're fucked. And so I'd carry spares, and I would carry spare bottles of liquid because I didn't want to smoke. I left my house with everything I needed. It was ridiculous how much vape stuff I would bring with me.
I don't remember the names of the first setup that I have that was a dripper. I know it was like a Nemesis 2 or something like that.
But this was already like RDAs. Like, dripping originally started on little 510 atomizers.
Yeah, I know.
Like dinky little 510s.
Fast forward to what I use. I don't remember the name. And but I know it was like a Nemesis mod or something. I don't know.
The Nemesis mech was.
The button got really hot every time I used it.
Yeah, those early mech mods were.
Springs.
Yeah.
Gee, were they stainless or what?
The Nemesis?
Yeah.
Stainless and brass.
That was not good.
Yeah, it was a bad scene, man. But
Can't-
when that screwdriver, did you ever see the screwdriver mod? It was a little 8350 flashlight that some guy in the UK started producing, like turning them into mods.
Okay.
You go from this little 200 mAh stick battery to like, a 1200 mAh 18350. I thought this is all I'll ever need. A screwdriver with a 510, drip, and that's it. Perfect. This is all I'll ever need.
Kent, for you, was it that Joytech you were saying about?
Oh, not Joytech brand. I don't know if they were around yet. It was just a generic. The website's name was like e-cigarettescheaperonline.com or something. It was based in China, and so they would sell 30 ml bottles of that 36 milligram, the freebase stuff, and then an Ego battery and a C4 Clearamizer.
Clearamizer.
Yeah, I used that for like a year and a half straight, and then I had a little break in vaping, a little insurance scare, and I had to quit to get nicotine out of my system. It turned out to be a false flag. I didn't have my vape, and I ended up starting to smoke again. So that just lasted a few months break, and then I started smoking again. And then I used that same setup. I went back to the website; they were still there, and I used that same setup to.
Normal people do.
How much were those things when you bought them, Kent?
They were so much cheaper. That's why I was buying it direct from China.
Okay.
Because they must have been selling it near the wholesale price of an Ego battery and those Clearamizers. I think they were still about $7 a Clearamizer or something, $5 to $7 a Clearamizer, and then the Ego batteries were like $20, $15, something like that.
China still does it now. Sells it wholesale.
Yeah, they still have all those setups. Yeah, but then I was doing that, and I was just like, how do I get more vapor out of this little thing? I'm getting tired of that was my setup that I could just totally use to not smoke, but that's when I got interested in building, and I found out there's things called RDAs and Genesis atomizers and stuff, and I just fell deeply down the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Now I vape perfectly, so.
I wish you guys were around in the vape industry when we discovered VG. Like that was one of the biggest game changers ever. When we were talking about vapor production, like how do you get more vapor? How do you get more vapor? And then one day on ECF, someone brought up that they added vegetable glycerin to their liquid that they bought from China, and it made it thicker, and you get more vapor. So it was like, what? So it was like a run on Walmart's, because you would go to Walmart and buy the little bottles of vegetable glycerin, and you dump it in your liquid, and you're like, yeah, you get more vapor, but you realize, I just diluted down the flavor and the nicotine. And I mean, before VG, it's just weird that there was a vape scene before VG even was like, used in vaping.
Yeah, I wouldn't even have thought of that.
Brand is all PG based.
Yeah, all PG, 100% PG. The nicotine's PG, the flavoring's PG, it's suspended in PG. Then VG, and originally I would just put one big dollop of VG, like the thick VG, right on my atomizer, and then drip liquid over it, so that it would it would mix in the atomizer. I don't know. It was a weird time, man.
I remember a time when you couldn't find organic cotton balls at any CVS, anywhere. That sold out everywhere. You'd be on the hunt for cotton for hours, just driving around.
Like before the cotton took over, it was all silica.
Yeah, silica.
Yeah, that's what I started on.
I built with silica too. Yeah, that was a pain in the ass.
Yeah, I remember because I used to rebuild the Pro Tank coils.
Mm-hmm.
I got really good at it. Yeah. I was doing like parallels.
Did you watch my video on it?
I did. I watched it at that point. No, that's not how I learned it. I watched your video after I had already become a professional.
You're like, why is he doing it?
I was like, geez, he really doesn't know what he's doing.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that what you thought?
That's what I thought. I was like, damn, dude, this guy can't build shit.
You're like, I'm over here doing parallels in this thing.
Yeah, dude, I've been a fucking barrel. I got a 0.4 ohm in my Pro Tank right now. Eco wool, stainless steel core, and this guy can't even wrap a 32 gauge wire.
All right. I'm glad I could help out, even if it's just to show you that you're doing it the right way and I'm doing it the
So apparently Aziz wanted me to read what he just put in chat. So Dwayne Joe lit the 44 and Dotmod V2 and Pony on Acid. I have no idea what the hell he's talking about. But Aziz, what are you talking about?
Dotmod V2.
That was probably a setup that I rocked for a very long time.
Do you remember that setup?
44.
We're using the
Dotmod V2.
Dotmod V2.
And I was I was one of the original guys. That was
He got me into Pony on
yeah,
Acid.
POAs. Shit.
Yeah, you're the one who...
Nick, did you get your 44 fixed?
No. My 44 is still dead. All of my DNA, all of my old LiPo DNAs are all dead because I let the battery get too low.
Yeah.
Get a hold of Mark from Warlock. He will fix them for you. He fixed my M17.
Yeah, I have like two M17s that don't work. My NES controller doesn't work. I have so many custom DNA LiPo mods that just are all dead now.
Yeah.
Probably 12 of them.
The same thing happened to mine, and I tried replacing the battery, and I guess the DNA chip has some sort of memory, so even if you put a new battery in, you have to like prime it in the eScribe software in order to make it work. I don't know. I was really mad. I spent weeks trying to fix that thing.
Sounds like a BMW. You can't even change the battery on my car.
Yeah, because Mark actually put a DNA 250 in my M17.
Oh, see, that would be cool.
So you threw that in there and just and then just put a better LiPo in there, since there's better LiPos than the ones the original M17 came with.
I was so mad when Axis Vape closed.
It was such a disappointment because they made higher end product widely available, and it wasn't.
Yeah, they changed the whole game with Axis Vapes.
Yeah, and I loved it. And I remember back at I got first introduced to them back in what was it, Vape Jam in Chicago, in St. Charles at Pheasant Run, when they brought one that they were going to give away. You know how like they had that small little building where the convention was.
Yep.
It was just, and then the owner, I think, of Axis came in with like a very limited edition one, and I saw it and I was like, oh my god, I have to get my hand on one of these.
Yeah.
And that's when I bought it on the website, and
Joe lit.
because I think it was their prices were like $425 to like $375. That was like the range they were, and I remember buying the $375 one, and it was just awesome. And they're still reliable. I still use it to this day.
Yeah, I would, but
yeah.
Well,
yeah, just if you want to get your those mods fixed, hit up Mark from Warlock Mods. I'm telling you, he'll take care of you.
I'll have to do that. You just have to do that. You need to get them working again.
So I've had a couple people ask me about this, because a question that a lot from the Stooges and all that stuff that we wanted to ask you guys, since all three of you are in the same place at once. We've been wanting to ask you this question. We want to know the story of how pretty much how you three of you became, like, because you guys are like best friends. We can all see it. You guys know it. How did this start? We want to know the origin story of the Three Stooges, aka the Squad.
The thing is,
let's let Nick tell it, and then I'll tell you the rest.
It started all separately. Because I knew Kent before I knew Dwayne. Yeah, I knew Kent from Instagram. I saw his build on Instagram, or his builds on Instagram. And then in a vlog one day, I had an RDA, a comp vape RDA.
That wasn't the first one.
That was the second one. What was the first one?
The first one, you said, I'm going to send an RDA to Kent, or to TwistedMesses. You didn't know my name, I don't think.
Yeah.
Send an RDA to TwistedMesses and have him build it for me. I'm so excited.
Yeah,
I'm so excited. That's exactly what I'm going to do. And then, he emailed me. Emailed you immediately. Because someone's like, dude, GrimmGreen just shouted you out, bro. And I was like, what? Shit, I was talking to you on his Protank rebuild.
And then, so he built me this.
That was the Doge V2.
The Doge V2. He built it with fused Claptons, and I liked it, and I vaped it. And then that's how I knew Kent. And then I sent him another RDA later on, the comp vape one.
Yeah, I think I actually hit you up again because I was like, dude, I want GrimmGreen shout out again. So
do you have anything else?
I was like, let's say I tried it once, dude, and I had to have it again. So I was like, hey Nick, if you ever want to your RDA build, just let me know, man.
I did.
Yeah, and you're like, yeah, actually, I just got this RDA from Comp Vape. I'm gonna send it to you. And I was like, cool. And I got that Comp Vape RDA and the El Cabron, and I was like, dude, this thing's fucking awesome because it like fit big coils in there. And I put some giant coils in. I don't think you liked it, but it's like some giant fused Claptons, and I was just like, okay. And then the top cap, the way that was designed, fit. So I was like, oh, that's so cool. And so I then hit up the comp vape guy, Craig, and I was like, dude, this fucking RDA is cool, man. He's like, I'll send you a whole bunch. He sent me 6 of them. And then I was like talking to him, and then he's like, you should do your own RDA, man. Blah, blah. And I was like, I've been planning on that already. And I was like, well, so I thought about that a long time, but that's what started. I did a collaboration on the first TwistedMesses RDA with comp vape. And I really talk with my hands.
Yeah,
you do.
Now you're realizing it. So that's how I met Kent. And then separately, it was later that same year when I moved down to Southern California. And I moved down to Southern California, and I didn't know anybody, and I had no friends. And I went to the SoCal Vape Expo in San Diego at that hotel.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I met Ohmboyoc. Chelsea from Society of Vape introduced me to you.
Yep.
She was the only person I knew, and I walked in there, and I saw Chelsea right away, and I was like, awesome, there's somebody I know. And then so we started talking, and she's like, have you ever tried anarchist wire? And I was like, no, like I didn't care about gimmicky wire at that time. I was like, fucking, that's stupid. I don't need anarchist wire. She's like, no, you have to get a build with anarchist wire. So she just grabs my setup from me and takes it behind the counter. And then what ended up happening was Dwayne installed anarchist coils in my RDA.
Yeah.
And then I vaped it, and I'm like, well, okay, fuck, that's kind of amazing. Then Dwayne came around, and like, that's how I met him. Chelsea was like, oh, this is Dwayne. He does anarchist. And then I met Dwayne on that day.
Yeah, that was the day.
That was the day. And we just hung out and talked for a little bit. And I remember thinking, like, I thought Dwayne was really intimidating because I felt like he was on a different level of cool than I was. I'm
That's
like,
true.
Dwayne is, you know, me. I've known me my whole life. I'm not a cool person. And I saw Dwayne. I'm like, Dwayne is a really cool person, and I need to be friends with him. I need to impress him so that he'll be friends with me, so that he'll think I'm cool too.
You're so lucky that Dwayne turned out to be a good guy.
Yeah.
Imagine if he was just like a scoundrel and you're like, he's so cool, I have to impress him. He just takes advantage of you. Be GrimmGreen.com, all fucking Ohmboy products.
Yeah. Damn. I should have gone down that route.
Yeah.
Why didn't we go down that route?
But time machine, bro, give me an idea.
We had more laughs.
Even when that was going on, Dwayne and Kent already knew each other, right? Did you guys know each other?
Yeah.
Through Instagram.
Yeah, we already knew each other. We were boys. I mean, Kent and I met because Kent did like the first build off I had ever seen on Instagram, and I felt so horrible for Kent because he was giving away like his prizes were like my used Doge V1 that I used a dozen times, semi-new condition, 3rd place. Yeah. So like his prizes.
Let me preface it with. Let me preface it with. I had a normal vape shop job, right? I was just like customer service associate. I wasn't making a lot of money. I was paying rent like a normal human being, and so I raised money to buy some things, but I didn't have like a huge amount of funds to give 3rd, 4th, 5th place really good prizes.
That's where shit started to get really gray quick. Okay, 3rd place was like, I'll give you this old pillow that I have in my house.
I think one of the prizes was I go W.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what the prizes are, because no matter what the prizes are, people always enter. I get tagged in giveaways on Instagram that I'm like, why are you even bothering entering this giveaway? Like, this is just people just doesn't matter. People want the prize.
Yeah, but the reason they did is because a build off on Facebook in the Builders Bar group, this tiny little group, is what really got me obsessed with building. And so once, because I was like, oh, when I do this fucking build, I want to win. I got 2nd place, dude. My first build off, I was stoked. I think I should have gotten first. It was a good build. But yeah, I should have won that. I got robbed. Yeah, but that like really motivated me to get going and building. So that's why I wanted to get more builders, dude. We're having a fucking party on Instagram in 2015. It was amazing. So I just wanted to grow that, and I and I also want to grow my Instagram. Let's be honest. And
but you guys knew each other.
I think that really helped.
Yeah, through the build up.
But then all three of us weren't in the same location together.
That was Niagara Falls.
Yeah,
and that's where I met Turk.
You ditched,
and that's where I met Squiddude as well.
Well, the way I met
I didn't
Dwayne,
ditch anybody.
No, you ditched.
You ditched us, but it's cool. You were way too cool for us. But yeah, we. I'm just kidding. I'm just saying.
Ken asked him for his phone number, and he's like, oh, "I'm sure somebody else has it." That
That never happened.
Like, what are you guys up to later?
That never
They're
happened.
like, "Oh, we're probably going to go to the bar." We're like, "Okay, we should probably get your phone number so we can call you." He's like, "I'm sure somebody here has my number," and walks away.
That's what I said.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Wow, I was a dick.
You're like, "Oh."
Well, the thing is, me and Dwayne already knew each other. We were closer because we had that build connection.
Yeah. The build
And so the way we met though is Dwayne he wanted to do a build off with Local Vape, and Local Vape was sponsoring all crazy prizes. So he's like, "Hey bro, I'm gonna do a build off with Local Vape. Give me your number." And I was like, "Oh boy." I was like, fuck it. Gave him my number. Calls me immediately, and he just starts talking about this build off, and I'm like, skeptical, but I'm like, all right, fuck it. This sounds like fun.
Yeah, it was a dream come true. Local Vape was going to give us thousands of dollars worth of merchandise products and cash to do a build off the right way.
Yeah, and you said, this is what, now, in retrospect, I know what he meant, but Dwayne was on the phone with me. He says, "Man, I can't believe nobody helped you with that build off job. I mean, you had to fund that whole thing yourself, huh?" And I was like, "Yeah, man. Whatever I got." Dude, the first prize was a fucking dark horse. That shit had just released.
Yeah, the dark horse.
Yeah, that was a good prize. Yeah, it was prize.
I didn't like that RDA though. That's okay.
Oh, I love the dark horse.
Did we hang out at all between SoCal Vape Expo and Niagara Falls?
Nope.
I cannot remember. We didn't hang out at all, did we?
We did. There was that Jason Fader used at that sushi.
Oh,
slash,
yeah.
I think there was one hangout
We
time
went to that
between
once.
there and there.
Then after that, we would go there a bunch. We went to that SoCal Vape
later on.
Yeah.
A bunch.
A bunch. Okay.
Did you know that the night that you met Dwayne, you called me that same night when we went home?
Really?
Told me about it. You did. You don't remember?
Really?
Yeah. You called me. You go, "Man, yeah, I was at this Vape Expo, and then."
Because I didn't know who Nick was.
Yeah. You said I met this guy named GrimmGreen. I'm like, "Oh, you met GrimmGreen? Cool, man." And he's like, "Yeah, I had no idea who he was, man. I felt like real weird." And then I realized, like, as I was talking to him, wow, I think maybe this guy's a big kid or something.
Chelsea didn't reference it with anything. Chelsea was like, "This is my buddy Nick. He's cool. You'll like him."
That's how I was with Chelsea. That's how I was with a lot of people before Southern California. Before I moved to Southern California, there was no like GrimmGreen. People didn't care. People weren't like, "Oh,
yeah,
GrimmGreen."
Like they wanted something from
Yeah,
it.
like they wanted something or they wanted a picture or anything like that. Like that just didn't exist.
I think that's
until
why
that
we
show.
were so organic on our first meeting. Was
We had-
probably because I had no idea.
Yeah.
And I was just like, "Oh, hey, what's up, bro?"
And me, I was just like,
"Oh, cool. You live in San Diego." Like, "Oh, yeah, I grew up here. Fuck."
Oh,
Yeah, I grew up right down the street from here, actually. And, I actually, first time I had sex was at this hotel. To that hotel that we were staying at.
Dude, you're a baller. You paid for a hotel when you were 14?
No, dude, I wasn't 14. I was like 15. I couldn't get the room.
Oh,
It was cool.
That's awesome.
And then after that, it was just
The rest is history. The rest is history.
Fist bumps
let's
through history.
let's do bro trips and
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, you guys were fast friends because you're both normal people-ish, you know? I'm a little weird, whatever. So it took a while for Nick to warm up to me. It's not that he didn't like me. He was just like, Kent's crazy.
I just didn't understand Kent. It's just you don't get Kent until you get it, and then when you get it, you get it. That's it. That's all there is to it.
Or you never get it, and you're like, fuck that guy.
The weirdest thing that ever I remember from Niagara Falls was I wanted to get a selfie with you. I was like, Kent, let's get a picture. And so I take a picture, and Kent makes a different face, and I take another picture. And so I keep taking pictures, and Kent's like just slightly adjusting his facial expression, like only a little bit. And I'm like, what's so fucking weird?
There's got to be one good picture in there, man.
Just keep taking them. Hopefully he'll get one good.
Man, Kent is just so. That's the weirdest thing. Why didn't he just make a face for one picture? I thought it was so weird. So weird. I didn't get it. I didn't get Kent.
Yeah, you should have. The first time I went out to eat with Kent was in Niagara Falls. We went across the street to like some little buffet thing, and he orders Diet Pepsi. And the lady says, "I'm sorry, we only have Diet Coke. Is that okay?" And he goes, "Is it okay if I pay you with Monopoly money?" And he goes, "I'm just kidding. The Diet Coke will be fine." And I was just, yeah, it was. I was there.
Oh my god!
It was very similar. It was similar. It was similar. But this is what happened. She says, "I go, oh, can I get a Diet Coke?" I think is what I said. Yeah. She's like, "Oh, we just have Diet Pepsi." And I said, "Oh, root beer?" She says, "No root beer." And I was like, I said something else, something like that they wouldn't have for sure. And she's like, "No." And I'm like, "You know what, Diet Pepsi's fine."
Where did the Monopoly money?
That's a meme.
No, he did the Monopoly money thing. He did there's something weird in the interactions where.
But as soon as I said, fuck it, you know what, Diet Pepsi's fine, and Dwayne just goes.
Oh yeah, that was my introduction to Kent.
Yeah,
and then I knew Kent was funny. That was it.
That is awesome.
I understood Kent in that moment. I was like, "Oh, that's okay. This is Kent."
That was the clinching moment. That was the moment where he was like, "I get it."
Never really figure Kent out.
No,
you're always learning new things, and it's a process.
So am I.
Yes, work in progress.
No, that's the night. Isn't that the night where Squid Dude had like $100 and he got all ones?
Yeah.
He had like $2,000 in ones.
Oh my god!
But he walked up to me with this fat stack of cash in the middle of the casino, and he's like, $10,000, bro. I'm like, you just want, like, my head's exploding, and he couldn't keep it up very long. He's like, no, it's not.
Yeah, dude, even after everyone knew, there was still that photographer that worked for local vape.
I thought he won 10 grand.
He still thought he won 10 grand. It ruined his life.
The next day.
He's like, $10,000. He's like sitting there, you can see him just contemplating his life, like what he would do with $10,000. Couldn't believe he just got it out of a machine.
Yeah.
Just like,
how that changed 10 G's would have been for him.
Yeah.
Even the next day he walked up to me, he was still like in that mood. And that's when I finally told him it was a joke. He's like, "Man, I was thinking, I just can't believe he won 10 grand last night." I was like, "No, it was a troll, dude. He won a couple $100 and we cashed it all out for ones, and then we put 100 on the outside of each one so it looked like a brick. And then we were showing everybody it like it was 10 grand. He's like, "Really?" Like, yeah, dude, you didn't win 10 grand.
Who was that?
That was Chris.
he was the photographer, right?
Photographer, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He
I remember
edited all the videos.
I remember him.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So we're getting towards the end. There's a few other questions I want to ask you before we head out of here. So
Sure.
Wait. You trying to end the show?
No.
All right, let me just interject
Let's
slightly.
make this a little sweeter for you.
All right, let's
okay?
see. Current time 3:28.
no,
Yeah.
this is still gonna be going for a little bit longer.
No.
Hey.
Don't let Kent boss you around, Twin Sauce.
Yeah,
Don't let Kent boss
he'll
you.
do it.
Fine. Have it your way.
You give Ken a rope and he turns into a cowboy.
A cowboy with a lasso. Exactly. We're gonna lasso this show in the right direction, is what I'm saying. All right. I got tips, solid gold tips. I'm willing to give them for free. Nick doesn't want to let you have those.
You've had too many minutes.
You got too many minutes.
I'm in the flow state.
It's like a 13 karat gold tip, I swear.
All
13
right, do what
karat.
you want with your own show. I'm apologizing.
You're good, man. Don't worry. So, all three of you guys are designers. Obviously, we've come out products, Kent, and all that.
I'd say two of us.
I don't really. I mean, that's fucked up. Yeah. It's all we have.
Are you going to let them pick on you like that, Nick? Come on.
He said
That was the perfect setup.
Yeah. Hey, high five on that one.
All you need me to
Oh,
shake
yeah,
hands.
that was amazing.
All you need me for is just go on YouTube and talk nice about it.
So, I'm curious on what made you three want to get that thought in your head is like, I want to design something that is It's strictly me.
I'll
I want
because I think I have the most justified reason.
No, let's just break it down. I got Kent's reason for money.
That was secondary.
Because
Because I like starting businesses, and that's interesting to me. You know, I enjoy making a profitable business model. It's part of the the thing you're promised as an American is to be able to do that legally, which is let's not get into it. But but I was like, I saw a gap in the market. There was no builders RDA. There was everything that we got as builders, we modified as soon as we got it. You get an RDA, and then you're like, air hole needs to be bigger. Post holes need to be drilled out. You're using a fucking hand drill to modify this $90 RDA. It's crazy. So I just wanted like a RDA that's ready to go, doesn't need modified. You a builder would be able to make it. That was what I wanted to do.
That was your mission.
And then the rest is history from there.
I never thought about designing anything ever until I met Dwayne, and he was just like, "Hey, we should do an RDA." I was like, "Fuck, that sounds fun.
Yeah.
Let's design an RDA."
Yeah, and I drove down to your house. We met with the people, the manufacturers.
Did the whole thing.
Did the whole thing over lunch on a napkin. I don't know, they probably had a piece of paper.
Mm-hmm.
We sat there for like 2 hours eating pizza and designing an RDA.
It was
so fucking cool. That was like, it was surreal. I was driving down there to meet him, and I was just like, this is so fucking cool. Like, we're going to fucking design something. Like, that's really fucking badass.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's almost like you get addicted to it. Like, you get a little
you don't get
rush.
You get addicted to it, but what you get addicted to, and this is for every designer out there, don't let anybody tell you any different. What you get addicted to is people going, the recoil is my favorite RDA. And you just go, oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah, tell me more.
Tell me more. Yeah. Tell me more about how you love my product. That's what you get addicted to.
I don't know.
That's what
you do. You get addicted to the highs and lows too, Ken.
The highs and lows.
Yeah,
yes,
the highs.
No. Yes, there's
The
lows
thing,
too.
I think what you're missing though on the highs and lows part, but truly like the scarily addictive cycle, is when you're a business owner and you've released a product, you sell it, you have your profits and your whole money, and then you have a new project and you're like, dump all that money into the new project. And then all the money's gone, and it's all in this new project, and you're just like, I don't even know if people are gonna like this thing. Like holy shit, and that's like, you get the adrenaline's going. You're just like, fuck, man. Oh god, hopefully, and you do your best to promote it, and hopefully people like it, and people start liking it, and like that, and then you have the rush of the up of it, and you're like, okay, cool. Then all the money comes back. Continue the cycle, over and over again.
Up, down, up, down.
Yeah.
Well, you guys are doing something good, because if I have at least almost all of them, then.
See, look at that.
Doing
Look at that.
You guys are doing something right, so.
Yeah, but the funnest part that I think you guys are kind of missing out on is the actual 3D design part yourself, doing it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That's the cool thing about like being friends with Stan too. We actually get to see the process of the CAD drawing sometimes, and it's crazy how it's like you can press one button and it like explodes everything, and you see each little individual piece and like how it gets put together. It's an amazing process that.
I don't think Kent's that advanced yet.
No, I'm not. I taught myself. I didn't know how to do that when I first started. And then, but the fun thing is that like the more obsessed you get with an idea, and you have with the TM24 Pro series, I had a clear vision, and so I started with a blank canvas and then like built it up and like had all the engravings and everything, and I had a solid piece of this thing represented in there, and then you take that and you send it to the factory and they just make it in real life, dude. Came out of your brain.
AI, baby.
Yeah.
It came out of your brain, and suddenly it's a physical object.
It has to be the most satisfying thing when just an idea becomes something that you can hold in your hand. It has to be the most satisfying thing you could ever have happen. Because you had all that planning, all the time, hours and hours of time sitting on that computer, designing everything, and finally be able to hold in your hand. Even that first prototype. Seeing like my ideas are coming to tuition, and it's such a gratifying feeling. It really is.
Yeah, it is 100%.
I mean, you get addicted to it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like I would probably have had a child by now if you could have that same process with a kid, but it's more like just throwing the dice.
See.
That is awesome.
I'm just waiting for the designer babies, man, where you could be like, yep, no.
Ken's going to start designing kids off CAD drawings. It's going to be great.
No AIDS, no cancer, you cross off the eyesight problems, everything.
Yeah, don't be
cross-eyed. We'll take a perfect child.
Gattaca.
one?
You're thinking of Gattaca.
Do you know that Kent turns cross-eyed when he starts drinking? I didn't know this until last night.
Yeah, I don't drink. I had made the mistake of showing them this like old video that's private on my YouTube from like 2011 where I was trash black. I drank back when I drank. I don't drink anymore.
That's
Sorry,
awesome.
don't mean to hijack your show.
No, don't worry, guys. Don't worry. So,
Silly goose time.
Still
yeah,
one of his favorite.
that's what's the fun thing about it. That's what's fun about it.
Frames.
Yeah, until the dang RDA releases. And then you're going to...
Yeah, that's okay. I have a couple questions for you guys because I know you...
Dang!
Okay,
That's cool.
you,
Well, I
Dwayne,
wasn't
you and
done.
Kent have that super secret high-end little single coil guy that's in the works. What is the status on that?
No.
No on all fronts. Everything you heard is wrong, apparently. It's not a single coil RDA and it's not high end.
Well, it's high-end-ish. It's going to be $65.
Dude, this thing I think a fair price would be like 100. And Dwayne's insisting on doing it for 65, so you guys are gonna get a good deal.
Yeah, this thing is badass. It's just, I mean, this build deck has never been done before. It's never been thought of, not even remotely close to it. It's so easy and so stupid simple to put whatever build you want in there, whether it be single or dual coil. It's just one of those things I think when we release it, everybody's going to look at it and be like, fuck, why didn't I think of that?
Mm-hmm.
Like one of those moments, like kind of like when the goon dropped.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, that's,
Clamps!
geez, why?
Clamps!
That was in front of me this whole time. And the day is going to be that way when it drops. Everybody's going to be like, oh, shit. Okay, so there is one more way that we could have done RDAs this whole time, but nobody did for some reason. And Dwayne's a fucking super genius.
And that's the thing with you guys. I feel like when you guys put out a product, it starts like a whole kind of trend with China a little bit of like, okay, you guys think of something that is such a good idea. It's not too over complex, but it's something that nobody ever thought of before. And it's one of those things to where it's like they catch on to it, and then you see like 20 different other addies or mods come out just like that.
Yeah, I'd expect that to happen really soon.
And the dang.
That's why we haven't showed any photos, because I don't want that to happen before ours gets released.
Do we have an estimated release time for it?
Yeah, Ken, do
a
we?
couple more weeks. It's coming right up, dude.
So it'll be out by the end of the year, easily.
It's been a couple more weeks for a while.
At least we're not saying a year every year.
Yeah, that's true.
Will it be out before 2020?
I don't know what to tell you. I can apologize. I can apologize for the length of time that it's taking.
Did you say apologize?
No, I did not say apologize. I would never say that.
Apologize.
I'm pretty sure I heard apologize.
Well, you can rewind it back.
We'll rewind it.
Anyway, but apparently like the state of the art thing that we're doing is difficult to produce. So
Okay.
No, it's because the stuff we source to, the material.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
If they could just done it in-house, and you didn't go for something that they have to fly all the way to Pluto to get.
Yeah, it's in a different area, in a different factory that does it.
There's rocket shifts.
Yeah.
You gotta like the rocket, and then the Earth's rotating, and then the rocket rotates with the Earth
All
until it
this
breaks
for
the
an
plane, and then the Earth keeps rotating, but the rocket doesn't, and then it comes back, and it's
The first rocket didn't reach escape velocity.
Yeah.
It was a mess. We had to start all over and launch a new rocket.
Yeah.
So,
Then there's light years involved, so there's math and equations with that.
Really spread out.
Yeah, do that.
No.
And another one for you, Kent. When are we possibly ever gonna see the TM30 Pro? Because I'm waiting for that. I want to see it.
Basically,
I want it.
basically, I'm the linchpin between like 4 different product releases right now that aren't connected to me, and so
Okay.
the give me the green screen. There we go. Does the outline? Are we both on the screen the whole time, or is it
Yeah,
just
you're all on the screen.
Oh, I'll stop worrying about that then. I apologize. So this represents my bank account, and these are the 4 projects, and then all the money goes like that, and then there's nothing right there. And so like that's TM30, so we have to wait because resources.
I'm waiting for that. That's gonna be. I've been after the original TM30, and then I need a TM30 Pro. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I hope you like it. So far, I really like it. So.
Since you were here and we rebuilt that TM30, I used it for like the next month. I used that RDA. Yeah, it was great. I brought it to ECC. I loved it.
So yeah, people don't realize that was a good RDA.
It was a good RDA.
That was Jay Hayes' favorite 30 millimeter.
Yeah.
Well, then it must.
That's
be
the
good.
RDA he used on everything to see if it fit a 30. That's the one thing he used.
Yeah, that's probably why. Oops, that's the wrong juice. Yeah, that's probably why like I had this resurgence like after I sold out, and everyone's like, "You have a TM30." I'm like, oh.
We're sold out.
Gosh, that ball.
Jay Hayes. No.
So finally, with you, Nick, you're okay. I'm anticipating all your guys' products, but since I've gotten this weird kick into RTAs lately, when's this RTA coming? Really big thing.
About 2 weeks. No, I'm just kidding.
The viewers want answers.
I'm taking a lot of time with it, and that's the only reason why it's not coming out.
Well, because you want something to be
I want
perfect.
it to be exactly
what I
want. I want it to be exactly what I want. There's still one more prototype coming, right? We have one prototype coming, and it should be the final, everything dialed in, tits, RTA that I want, and if it is, we're gonna greenlight it. Send it.
6 months,
and it's awesome.
Wow.
And it's it's not reinventing the wheel. It's just the RTA I want. It's just going to be awesome. It's going to be. Oh my God!
It was one hair. It was just poking out super long.
Just plucked him.
I didn't even know if it was connected. I just
Jeez. That was insane.
Are you okay?
Whoa.
Guys.
Oh my
I
god!
thought that hair must have been connected to like a nerve ending in my brain because it was like this pain just went.
I'm surprised you didn't do like some weird twitch on that. Holy crap!
What was that?
Well, it was so long. It looked like
What's
it could
that?
be a loose hair. So I was like, I'm gonna help him out or I'm gonna hurt him.
Anyway, and so the
Oh, it was
RTA,
awesome.
it's called the Type 2. It's gonna be awesome. That's all I can say. It's gonna be incredible. It's gonna have super tight fit and finish. It's gonna be real nice, super easy to wick. Ultimate. It's gonna be an amazing RTA. Flavor banger.
So
That's
Dwayne, I know you're kind of doing a little bit of a rebranding thing with your liquid line. Is everything out and ready to go now?
Yeah, I just ordered labels, so I just did a last-minute switch on the labels to just name everything Tobacco 1, Tobacco 2, and Tobacco 3 on the flavor profiles on it. And, I mean, that was just like a last-minute judgment call on my part to, fuck, man, try to fucking keep these shops afloat, Yeah. Fuck, man, it's insane. So, I mean, I've just been kind of sitting around on that, but we got everything ready. So I finally ordered the labels, and we're not going to do the boxes. We're just going to do the bottles. That's going to be, I'm really excited for that. I found a new flavoring company and basically remade a bunch of recipes. Hence why he's vaping the new Fuse. So I found this new flavoring company and I was like, oh yeah, and I geek out. When I find a new flavoring company, I order all their shit and just geek out, and their stuff is so good, so freaking good. So it was fun. It was fun to get back into the juice lab, and I probably spent the past like 3 months in the juice lab, just remaking flavors and adjusting stuff, and I don't know. That gets me excited.
Definitely. It's cool to get you back down an avenue that, with the whole Anarchist line, that's one of the things I feel like with the Anarchist wire and then the Anarchist liquid, that's you.
Yeah, exactly.
That's something you built from the ground up, and it's cool to see something that you built, you kind of revamp it, get it ready for, remodernize it, and just kind of have it with the times. And it's just cool to see you getting back into it. So I'm excited.
Yeah, it was fun, man. I was excited to get back into that lab. And as soon as I started making flavors again, and getting nicotine sickness and sitting in the lab all just fresh. There's something about when you make juice fresh and then you go and try it right away, and it's all aerated and the bubbles are in it, and it just absorbs into your system, and you're just sitting there vaping for like 3 hours, just all these different versions, and And then you're like, whoa, oh, guys, I need to sit down for a minute. Is it hot in here? And then it gets like really hot.
Headache.
But I just remember when I used to work in the lab consistently, like that's all I did was make flavors all day and then make juice. And so I would be immune to it. And then I went right back into the lab like I'd never stopped. And oh, dude, I was like, for the first couple of days, I was getting so sick out. It was, I think I threw up once. Once I did like a little water heave to the toilet.
And when you threw up is when you were on that show.
I did that before too on the live stream. Yeah, I was on a live stream and I'm just sitting here. You know how you bring a bunch of setups on the live stream and just here, you know, other people are talking, you're just vaping. And that happened, and it just hit me, and I was like, I gotta go to the bathroom. And I could tell I was like starting to sweat and ran into the bathroom and just dry heave. Feel better right afterwards, come back, chugging water. Yeah. That's what I was hoping because the bathroom was right there next to my room. I was like, oh, please don't. I hope that mic doesn't pick that up. Oh, dude. Yeah. That's what I think some of these kids are going in to see the doctors about. With these jewels, I think there's some of them are getting a little sick going in there.
Oh yeah, because they're sitting in the bathrooms, freaking.
Oh yeah.
Hitting them as much as they possibly can, and just freaking nicking themselves out harder than they can possibly imagine.
Yeah, dude, and they get a little nauseous, and you start to kind of go down that path of being sick, and I need to see a doctor. Somebody like Kent would call, 911. Me on the other hand, I would wait it out if I was a kid. But you got kids like Kent that are like, "This don't feel right, guys. I might need a doctor.
Yeah,
I think I'm dying."
No, run into the principal's office and be like, "I'm dying. I need you to call 911."
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, before we wrap this up, guys, I know I kind of want to touch on this a little bit because Nick, you've been really big into what's going on lately with Twitter and all that stuff. Dwayne, I know you're getting involved. Kent's involved too. It's a crazy state we're in right now. It really is. It's kind of the worst that this industry's ever been in. Easily, I would say. 100%. I mean, we all thought that the worst we've ever been in was like August 8th when we were like, oh crap, shit's hitting the fan. But then we got extended like almost 3 years. So it's like nothing happened between then. And then suddenly everything decided to hit us at once. Yeah. So with all the viewers out there that have seemed to lose hope, have seemed to kind of give up on trying to fight and all that stuff, what would you guys say to the people who have felt like they've given up and they think all hope is lost?
Look at what just happened in New York, okay?
Yep.
Look at what just happened in New York.
Yeah.
And if that doesn't give you a little extra motivation, then I don't know what will. We're not up against the impossible. It's just going to take time to accomplish what needs to happen.
Yeah.
And we need people. We need numbers. We need everybody that vapes to help.
And we made such a big impact on Twitter and social media that Vice UK did a whole article about it.
Yeah, I saw that.
Talking about how they suspected it was bots because it was such a huge surge. And it's like, no, that's
all united together and got people on Twitter to start going nuts.
That's vapors becoming radicalized and defending what they believe in. So we're making a big impact. We can continue to make really big impacts. One thing recently that kind of gave me a lot of motivation was the official Libertarian Party of the United States has been tweeting out about how unconstitutional these vape bans are and how we need to protect consumer choice. And they set up a website that's vape.vote. And you can go there, and it's run by the official Libertarian Party. They have calls to action you can do. You can submit testimonials, and they have other links to other resources. And it's, it's not just vapors that are getting upset about this. It's become like it's become something bigger. And it just, it was terrible timing, but there was something that was needed to push vaping to the front of the news media. And Trump, being Trump, he's the one that did it. And it kind of all caught us by surprise, but I think it's motivated a lot of people and radicalized a lot of people in a really good way. And now it's something bigger. It's not, vaping's never going to go away. It's the conversation right now. So
What would
stay
you
in
say to
it,
those
you know.
people who are in states like Massachusetts where it's like all vaping in general, even THC cartridges? And
Yeah,
stuff
I
is
mean
all
that's
gone.
bananas. I mean,
Yeah, it's like trying to
I
get
don't-
those people to stay motivated. It's tough because I see people like seeing those posts on like Twitter and stuff where they're posting where their shop closed. It's one of the most depressing things you can ever see.
it's
It's
heartbreaking.
awful.
Completely heartbreaking.
And like I've
Complete-
tried to think of things that we can say to those people that kind of can keep their hopes up. And I'm stumped for words. I really can't, because see, things have gotten so bad to where these people are to where they're forced to be unemployed.
Yeah.
Like, and where their choices and their liberties as an American have been taken away from
I
them.
know. Yeah, and it's defeating, and it feels defeating. You know, I mean, we had to shut down Amber Juice, and
That was crazy.
we did business in Michigan for 7 years.
Yeah, Namber's been around for
legally up and up. All of our flavors, all of our recipes are registered with the FDA. We're up to date. We were up to date on all of our testing. We had an ISO grade facility. I mean, it was incredible.
Yeah.
And it's heartbreaking. It's just heartbreaking. And all I can think of is in time, everybody that's against vaping right now will be proven to be foolish. That's exactly what's going to happen. It's already starting to happen. Cuomo feels foolish. He's already backing down. They pulled menthol right out of it right away. Even before the hearing, he pulled menthol out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Science and time are going to show anti-vapors to be the ones who were foolish during this.
They can't hide from the science forever. They can't.
Yeah, they can't hide from the science forever. This is a big revolution that's going on right now with tobacco. I mean, we're taking on tobacco, which is one of the institutions of America.
Yeah.
Like, this country was built on alcohol, tobacco, and sugar. And tobacco is ingrained in our society, and it's part of our culture, and it's part of Americana and tobacco farmers. And that's what we're trying to go up against. So
The culture's changed. They really do.
It's tough, but we have to change the culture. It's going to be ugly. It's going to be rough. I think it's going to get worse before it gets better.
Yeah, I
but
think so
it is
too.
going to get better. Vaping is not going to go anywhere.
No.
It just cannot. It's too big. It's too global.
Is
Too
there any
big.
last like words of wisdom you guys would like to give to the viewers in chat, and like little either advice or anything in that kind of sort?
Keep it up. Keep the activism up. Keep the advocacy up. Don't forget to take breaks. You get so entrenched in it and so involved in it. And there's nights where, my wife Casey comes home, and then all we do is sit on Twitter and talk about it and exchange articles and keep tweeting, and we're both getting mad. And it's like, you have to take like a day away from it, take like a weekend away from it. Remember that you're a person, and that, you have
That's what I try
interests
to do on the weekends. It's just
and you need to recharge your batteries.
Yeah.
You need to self-care, because this is a long, we're not fighting a bunch of battles. We're all in a war, and you have to sustain yourself. You have to have, you have to take care of yourself. So don't get burnt out. Getting burnt out sucks, and it makes you want to give up. And so it's better to recharge and come at it fresh than get burnt out and give up.
Definitely. Before we go, Stan put in the chat right here, he thinks Dwayne needs to market a P90X DVD series.
Yeah.
Dwayne, what are your thoughts?
P90X DVD, it's P91X.
P91X.
P91X. However long it takes to do P90X, we do
Should be
ours in
called
5 minutes left.
P90Y.
P90Y? Okay. But it's just going to be 5 minutes shorter than the P90X with the same outcome.
There you go.
Like 6 minute abs, we're going to release the 5 minute abs. That's where we're going with the market.
That's awesome.
Waiting for the next jacked up bodyguards. Yeah, thank you, Michelle.
Basically.
And we're going to do a training video here shortly with Nick, where he's going to do sprints and kegels.
Are you jacking me up right now,
You
bro?
guys can tell me about Joe. They got into this full conversation last night about dick kegels. Okay, I didn't even know that was a thing.
Exercises.
Yeah, dick kegels.
Cranium.
Squeeze it.
Don't you like to stop?
I know you're dick kegels.
Maybe they'll good.
You ever done the towel?
Yeah, you make presses.
Oh my god.
Presses?
To
No.
build it even stronger?
Yeah, and I feel like I'm not alone. I feel like you two are on an island.
We just have super
Dick kegels.
Sometimes we touch the tips
So
together.
maybe we'll have a little competition tonight. You guys, a little friendly competition between the two of you. You guys can go get a couple towels and dress,
This
Sitting living
stream
room.
just went sideways. I apologize. This is out of hand. This was a bad idea from the beginning.
So my last thought
Wait.
probably, just wipe front to back as courtesy.
Front to back. Yep, that's the correct way. I always have to think about it twice before I wipe.
Away.
What are the last words you want to leave everybody with?
Kind of like cutting with the knife.
TwistedMesses.com.
No, who cares about me? This is about the people here watching.
Ken has a discount code for you guys who just made.
Actually, the discount code GrimmGreen is 30% off still. I never turned it off. But
Okay.
that's not why I said this. This is about the people watching. You know? You got to think about yourself and your own dreams, you know? What are you going to do with them? Huh? I think you should achieve them. I'm just kidding.
Did you just tell people not to reach out to their dreams?
I was just thinking, like, where's Kent going with this?
No, reaching for your dreams is really bad
at
advice.
sex and didn't know where it was going to go. That's
Would
what
you say set smaller goals to achieve a bigger picture?
No, I think
What do you do in life?
it's good to have like a
Besides take care of your
generalized,
cats?
like a nebulous goal in the future. This is what works for me, because if I make a goal list and try to follow it, I'll never do it. The first one that I miss, I'm like, oh fuck, I suck.
You want to just go right into just trying to accomplish that second goal?
No, that's not how my personality works. And
So,
so
you
what?
skip goal 2 and go to 3.
Nope, burn the goal list. And I have some nebulous thing out there. I don't even know what it is. And I'm just gonna I'm gonna do the next thing right in front of me. As long as I take action, that's okay. And so I take action. I do
As
something.
long as I'm going in this direction.
As long as I'm going in that
Yeah.
direction, it's
So we're gonna
fine.
do it too.
Whatever's in front of me, I'm gonna do that. And then as you go, it builds and you learn skills. If you don't know how to do something, you just learn how to do it. You know,
So fake it till you make it.
you don't fake anything. You're by yourself.
You said you didn't have
You
the
have-
skills and you built it
and
until you figured out the skills.
thing
so
about
you just,
like,
you attempted before.
Okay,
you
I agree with
do
you.
it,
Can
so
I continue
faked it
talking?
until you made it.
right, I agree with you. Fake it till you
It's like
make it.
hanging
Yeah.
out with an old married couple.
Yeah.
Orange.
But the problem with
They
being like,
argue all the time.
I'm gonna make $100,000 by the end of the year, and then when you don't hit that, you're like disappointed yourself. You didn't hit your goal, and you
No.
feel like you failed.
What about this? I'm going to design a product by the end of the year. Next year, I'm going to put that product into manufacturing.
That's what I'm saying.
That's like goals that achievable goals.
Yeah, but those
You
are
can do it
way
on-
too concrete as well, though.
Why?
In my opinion,
Any
It needs to
product.
be-
Because
because
you designed a dildo.
the thing is, like, if you get to a certain point, suddenly a law changes or something changes. Like,
Yeah.
you can no longer go forward to that goal. You've wasted so much energy looking at a year from now on some sort of project, and now you have to completely divert from it and start over. So it's better to have like a generalized goal, and whatever win you get, be very grateful for it. But if it doesn't work out, don't be disappointed, because you just got to keep moving.
You know the difference between you and me and that analogy you just gave?
You don't
So
use your
you
hands
let-
when you talk.
So let's say that's the law, right? And you were like, goal, law. I go, goal, law. Whoop,
No,
go.
I'm not saying
tobacco
I'm not
1,
saying,
tobacco 2,
I'm
tobacco
not saying
3.
a law, dude. I use that as an example. It could be
There's a
any
horrible
roadblock.
example.
Any roadblock.
But
Right.
see, I just
The
do
market
this over.
shifts. Say the market shifts from you want to do an RDA. Market shifts completely. Literally, nothing selling. Goon
Yeah,
new one. Everybody.
Exactly. We're going to release an RDA.
It's another bad example because you don't know what an analogy is.
We're still going for it, though.
You're just as bad as
Thanks for
fucking
having
Joe
us on,
Rogan.
Sauce.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
No problem, guys. I'd like to thank the three of you for joining me. I know you guys are crunched on time usually, but it's really a pleasure to sit down and hang out with you guys a little bit and talk. So
Nicolas Cage. I saw
Yeah,
that British eyes. That's
so-
a dry heave.
see that's some beautiful stuff right there. You can't go wrong with that. These are just three dudes trying to make their way in life, and that's what they're doing. They're making moves, changing people's thoughts, and changing the world one little bit at a time. So, guys, I'd like to thank everybody for watching. I'd like to thank these three gentlemen right here for hanging out.
Thank you, Sauce.
And, yeah, we'll see you all next week. See ya.
Peace.